What if I told you that the world's southernmost ATM, or automated teller machine, is actually owned by an American bank, or at least operated by one? That is there are only 2 ATMs on the entire continent of Africa, and they're both in the same place. And they're at McMurdo Station, which is the United States Antarctic base on the coast of western Antarctica and on the Ross Sea. This is the largest concentration of human population anywhere on the Antarctic continent, and it is mostly run by the United States Antarctic Program. This is where those 2 lonely ATMs happen to sit. They're the only ATMs on the entire Antarctic continent. As I said before, they are run by an American bank, which is Wells Fargo. So yes, you can go all the way to the bottom of the world, or at least close to it, and find 2 ATMs that are run by an American bank, Wells Fargo. The population, of course, in McMurdo is largely American. It is an American station, but it is also an international transit hub as well, where most flights land at Williams Field, which is adjacent to McMurdo Station, and that is why the ATMs are there. I don't believe they're necessarily owned by Wells Fargo. They're operated and they're branded as Wells Fargo. And so these ATMs are located at McMurdo Base. And why would McMurdo Base need an ATM with cash? Well, cash does operate, a lot of things at McMurdo Station. McMurdo has, stores, provisions, gift shops, coffee shops, and bars. McMurdo Station in the summertime has a population of somewhere around between 1,000 and 2,000 people stationed at the base. It is basically a small town on the Antarctic continent. And for my previous video about the world's southernmost cities, you could make a case for McMurdo Station, although in the wintertime the population drops down to around a couple hundred. But in the summer months, which for those, in the southern hemisphere, the summer months are the exact opposite of what they are in the northern hemisphere. The southern months at McMurdo are also December, January, and February, which are the deep winter months in the northern hemisphere. So this is a pretty lively place, actually, and it's with 1,000 to 2,000 people stationed there in any given month in the summertime. This is a place that has outdoor music festivals. There are music festivals in, right around New Year's, a particular big one on New Year's Day itself. This is a time of the year when the temperatures get above freezing very frequently. One of the highest temperatures to ever be recorded at McMurdo happened on a New Year's Day with one of these festivals, and the temperatures reached the low 50s. Wintertime, of course, is a little bit of a different animal entirely. But McMurdo is also a transit station where people from other countries that are going to other stations, will fly into Williams Field at McMurdo, and they will fly to their respective country stations. And of course, there's also a transit to another famous American station, which is the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station at the South Pole. So ATMs are needed there, and the scientific or the operational staff at McMurdo will recycle cash from the various merchants and use that to supply the ATMs with the cash. The good news is, if you're an American and you're stationed in McMurdo, you can use these ATMs with no surcharges, just like any other Wells Fargo ATM in the United States. So if you are there at McMurdo, you can use the ATMs for free, or for no additional surcharges. So if you need that $40 for some beers at the bar, have at it. So that is the story of the only 2 ATMs on the Antarctic continent operated by Wells Fargo. They actually just replaced these ATMs just last year in 2024 with a very modern Diebold manufactured model. for each one of these ATMs. So they're brand new ATMs down there. The old ones used to have to be cannibalized for parts. When one was down, the other one would be used for the parts. They kind of cannibalize each other. This won't be necessary for a few years because these ones are now brand new. So I can't see there being a need for repairs, which is why they bought these ATMs brand new. I would believe at this point, I don't have any evidence of this, but these ATMs are likely owned by the United States Antarctic Program. But they are operated by Wells Fargo, and they are Wells Fargo branded ATMs. So there's your story. The two loneliest ATMs probably in the world, and the only two on the Antarctic continent, located at America's McMurdo Station. That is it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed your Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow again. I think I'm filming live right now on a regular basis. There are some in the can, kind of in the back end, but I'm going to leave you with that for tonight. Hopefully you have a good night, and I'll see you later. Peace out, homies.